thinker, writer, orator, administrator, and basically agriculture graduate. Dr.V.Irai, the director of this institution, already introduced himself to you in the last class itself. It's needless to say, உங்களுடைய அறிவு மக்களுக்கு அறிமுகம் தேவையில்லை. அறிவு முகத்திற்கு அறிமுகம் தேவையில்லை. With this few words, I already requested him to enlighten you on how to face an interview. He is readily agreed with our request. On behalf of you, every one of you, I thank him at the beginning itself. Sir, I request you. All these 75 students are they are doing PhD. 17 were doing PhD, and 6 of them were really they are assistant professor, and part time they are doing PhD. And all other almost from throughout the country they are here. Some of the students are from other states. I see students also here. And I also welcome the faculties here. I don't know for to this class. With these few words, I request our director, Dr.V.Irai, to take this class. This is a great opportunity for you. Yes, this will be the memorable day in your entire life.
Professor Madiyalagan and my dear friends, I am very happy that we could arrange this session on how to face an interview in a short period of time, and I am very happy that this institution is able to cater to the requirements of students and aspirants who want to come up in their life. The topic for this session is to face the interview with confidence and courage. The first and foremost question that comes to our mind about the word interview is to face a group of people and answer to the queries immediately and instantaneously and respond to their doubts without any fear. This is the picture we have about the term interview. Interview is different from personality test. In the competitive examinations, you have the personality test. And in the personality test, your knowledge is not going to be tested. They are going to test your leadership qualities, your ability to take initiatives, your command over the language, your communication skills, your problem solving ability, decision making quality, your sociability, and your appearance. Personality includes both the physical as well as the mental attributes. In interview, it is for a specific purpose. Personality test is conducted to select a generalist, whereas in interview, it is more specific and it wants to test the particular skill of a person. In other words, interview is genus and personality test is a species. Personality test is also a kind of interview, but it has a different dimension to it. In interview, in a short span of time, they are going to judge your overall capability and your ability to deliver a particular job. In interview, not much attention is paid to your leadership qualities, but they are going to test your academic capabilities. Whether you possess knowledge, whether you have capability to express your ideas freely and frankly without fear or phobia, whether you are fluent in your communication, whether you are able to understand the queries of others, and whether you are able to listen to the board members, and whether you are able to cope with the stress. These are all the qualities that are being tested in an interview. Basically speaking, in any type of interview, they judge the 10 life skills of an individual. Whether you possess those life skills or not is the question before the interview board. Life skills are crucial. It is not just the knowledge in the academics that is important. You would have heard about the candle problem told by Carl Gunther. It was posthumously published in 1945. What is the problem related to candle? The students in a classroom was given an assignment that they have to fix a candle on the wall without even a single drop of wax being melted and falling on the floor. The candle was presented along with a group of matchbox and a tray, and the tray had some pins, and now you have to fix it on the wall. The condition is very simple, that not even a single drop of wax should fall on the floor. Now, most of the students were obsessed with the problem called functional fixedness. Now the tray which had the pins was viewed just as a tray. The table was used as an object to keep the things on the table, and wall was viewed as a separate entity. Now they tried to fix it on the wall by first melting the candle and then tried to fix it. The weight of the candle is very high and it cannot be fixed on the wall. Now the simple answer for this puzzle is to move the table very close to the wall and then project the tray. Take out all the pins from the tray and now form a big bridge between the table and the wall and keep the candle on the tray and light it. Now the problem is solved. We often tend to have the fixation of function as the main obstacle. In any interview or any test, we have certain mindset which has to be broken. If you have the obsession for certain mindset, you cannot do out-of-box thinking, and it may not be possible for you to come out with solutions. Today people are not interested in testing your academic knowledge. Almost all will have the academic knowledge. They are not going to ask you what is the gestation period of pig, because even I know that it is 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days. They are not going to ask you about the various breeds of cattle in Tamil Nadu that everybody knows. They are not going to ask you about the anatomy of a cow. They are not going to ask you about the various diseases that will occur to the bovine population of a place. These questions will be easily answered by you. They are knowledge-based questions. Maybe 1 or 2 questions will be thrown just to make the atmosphere ease. Just they would like to make you comfortable. Anybody who goes for the interview has to be comfortably seated. They should be made comfortable in the new environment. Nobody wants to provoke you. They are not interested in stressing you out. That is not the purpose of the interview. In that case, they can throw a hard question immediately after you enter into the hall and make you dumbfounded and then dismiss you as a dismal failure. They can do it, but that is not the purpose. Kindly remember this, that the board members would always like to bring the best in you. The board is not interested to frustrate you so that you give an abysmal performance and get out of the room. They want to know your worth, whether you are capable of discharging the responsibilities that will be given to you. It is the basic objective of any interview. So they will ask a few questions just as a lubricant. Those questions may be knowledge-based questions. After 2 or 3 questions, you will feel comfortable. Now they would like to test you about your overall understanding and your overall analytical ability to know whether you can discharge the duties effectively. There are various types of professions for which an interview is conducted. An interview may be conducted to see whether you can become a teacher. Now, knowledge itself is not enough. A person may be highly knowledgeable. If you give him a piece of paper, he can write the latest developments in tackling foot and mouth disease. That is not the purpose for conducting the interview. He is going to be a professor. Now his knowledge alone is not enough. What is important is the oral communication capability. Whether he is able to make the lesson easy, whether he is able to talk coherently, whether he is able to present the matter to a group of people and make them understand it in a short span of time. And that is the question before him. It is not just knowledge-oriented test, but whether he is able to communicate effectively and see that even the last student in the class remembers the subject forever and applies it in the field. Ultimately, whatever we learn in our professional course has to be applied in the field. I can tell you a very small example why Archimedes is considered as one of the greatest mathematicians of the world. When you name 3 mathematicians of the world, it is first Archimedes, then comes Newton, and third comes Gauss. Why? Archimedes was the first man to apply mathematics in real life. When there was a war between the country of Archimedes and Syracuse, he applied mathematics. He used ships where he could employ his technology and defeat the enemy. And that was the greatness of Archimedes. Finally, all your knowledge becomes waste if you cannot apply it in the field. So knowledge has to be applied, and that application should be done in such a way that it will solve the existing problems and lead to more productivity. What is the purpose of science? Science is trying to create an artificial womb. Kindly understand that science is trying to create an artificial womb outside the womb so that you can live with least stress and maximum comfort. The only place where a human being is at most comfort is the womb of his mother. The second place is the tomb of the grave. But in tomb, there are a lot of problems. They may construct in an encroached land and it may be removed. And you are not conscious. But whereas in the womb of the mother, even for your own problems, the mother will take the medicines. The vaccination is done for the mother to circumvent the diseases that may occur to the child. Therefore, the safest place on the earth is the womb of the mother. And science is trying to create it outside the womb. Ultimately, we want to eliminate all the problems one by one. Just imagine, 400 years ago, what would have been the life of the people when there was no anesthesia? There was no anesthesia, so people had to forego their limbs when they get wounded in a war. Imagine the situation where 20 or 30 people would have held their body tightly, and when they were wailing and whining, crying and shivering, their limb would have been cut off, and how it would have been amputated. Just visualize the scene. And after the invention of anesthesia, life became so peaceful. Now you don't feel the pain. Imagine the situation before the invention of antibiotics. In 1920s, the population of India increased. Before that, it was just 30 crores. In 1920, the population of the country increased, and it is called the year of Great Divide because of the introduction of life-saving drugs. Before 1920, the birth rate was more and death rate was also more. We were in the first stage of Malthusian theory of population. Then we entered into the second stage. Birth rate is more, death rate is less because of antibiotics and life-saving drugs. And the third stage is yet to come, where the birth rate is less and death rate is also less. And you will have the fourth stage, where the birth rate is less and the death rate is more. It will happen after some time. Why? Because of the junk food, pollution, accidents, nuclear war, and all kinds of law and order problems. It might happen. So 1920 became the crucial year for the simple reason that life became comfortable. Before that, if an infection was there, he was bound to die. But after 1920, now you have antibiotics. Now we have gone to the age of probiotics. So science is trying to create an artificial womb outside the womb to make your life sophisticated and comfortable. Ultimately, all this science that you read and all the technology that you develop is just to cater to the requirements of the people in the field. If you are not able to solve the problems in the field, the knowledge is going to be a waste. So, as a professor, you have got a duty to transmit the knowledge that you have gained over a period of time to the next generation in such a way that they can immediately relate it to the problems in the field and find solutions for them. And that is the objective of this profession. Now there are various other professions. Some of you may go for a competitive examination. Some of you may go as a veterinary doctor. Some of you may join a research firm and do research. Some of you may join the university and take up teaching profession. Some of you may join a pharmaceutical company. There are plenty of opportunities available at your disposal. Now you have to make a choice. It is very, very important. I know many people who have taken a wrong choice and suffered throughout their lives. They have joined a particular job and it has become very difficult for them to leave the job because the moment they join, their parents would get them married and then they will have responsibilities. They cannot shirk their family. It is very difficult in India. Here the concept always goes that one house, one wife and one car. Now the third thing has got changed. Now you have more cars. The same house and same wife. Or same husband for that matter. Otherwise they may say I am having gender bias. But for want of sheer decency I said so. In India it is very difficult. The moment you take up a profession, till your retirement you will be in the same profession. Rarely you find people who will switch over from that profession to some other profession. Somebody may be very good in lyrics, writing lyrics, but he will be a professor, but still he will write lyrics because he is not very sure whether he can eke out a living out of lyrics. He may be interested in literature, so he will pursue it as a hobby. It cannot become a profession. Now, in the beautiful play Pygmalion written by George Bernard Shaw, he talks about Higgins, who says, happy is the man who has his hobby as his profession. Because he is a linguist. That is his hobby. And he takes it as a profession. Rarely you can come across some people who may be creative writers. It started as a hobby, then it becomes a full-time profession, and finally they are identified with their hobby and profession, and they lead a very, very happy life till their retirement. They keep on doing their hobby because it is not a profession. There is a retirement for professions, but not for hobbies, isn't it? In fact, many people resort to some hobbies after retirement. There is something called midlife transition that is spoken by behavioral scientists. They say that at the age of 45, you would be fed up with the job which you are pursuing and you would like to move on to some other job. You may be a doctor. Now for 20 years you have done all this treatment, and for 20 years you were in hospitals all the time seeing patients, and now you have become mentally sick. Now you would say that no more medicine. Now I will go and become a musician. Or you may say, I will go and do some farming. Now you are a veterinary doctor for 24 years, all the time attending to dogs. How many times you can do this kind of treatment to coughs, pulls, coughs, castrating the animals, then doing artificial insemination. You are fed up. Now you think that at the age of 45, now I won't do this. I will do some other job. Now I will go and work as a social scientist. In the meanwhile, in the past 20 years, you have gained enough knowledge by taking up some more degrees. You have done some MSc psychology, counseling and all those things. Now you would feel that I will not see animals anymore. Already 2 dogs have bitten me. So I will go and do some other thing. Now I will go and do some business. Somebody may say that I would like to do social service. Somebody may say that I would do some research. In the West, it is possible. At the age of 45, one can become a professor. Till 45, you would have been a businessman. He would have been in a military career. Now, at 45, he goes and does something which is totally alien to the earlier job that he was doing. You know William Golding. William Golding was in the army. After his retirement, he took to writing, and then he got Nobel Prize also. And there are umpteen number of people. For example, Richard Bach. He was a pilot. Then he took to writing. Anthony de Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince, he was a pilot. In fact, he fought in the Second World War and died. There are so many people who would have taken a profession and practiced it for umpteen number of years, and finally they feel that now I have done enough and I will switch over to some other profession. But that is not possible in India. In India, you have to be in the same job till your retirement, whether you like it or not. I know many people who used to write excellent poetry, but 50% of their creative ability vanished after they got married. And remaining 50% vanished after they entered into their job. Yes, life becomes difficult. The same girl loved him for the poems he wrote. Now she says, what is the use of this stupid poetry? Better do some other thing so that we can get money. Till they got married, his poems were scintillating. They were so thrilling. I am telling you, all the love poems are just compensations for not getting the person whom they loved. They are just compensations. If a person really loves, then he will not write poems because he has got some other thing to do. So it is very, very important that you understand this basic principle that in India, if you really want to shine in your life, you should pick up the profession of your choice. As Higgins says, choose a profession which is dear to you, which is close to your heart, so that till your retirement, you do it with passion. Find the list of people who have succeeded in their life. Take the scientists who have invented a lot of objects. Take the technologists who have brought a lot of technology to this world. Take the doctors who are instrumental in key surgeries. Take the list of literatures who wrote immortal poetry. Take the list of all the heroes who have contributed something in the social transformation. You would find that they all had one thing in common. They had extraordinary passion for the job that they did. So if you really want to succeed in your life, the first thing that you require is passion. So before you choose your job, decide whether you have passion for the job. Don't do it just because you get money. Don't do it just because your father asks you to do it. Don't do that just because the society thinks that it's a well-paid job. Don't do it because you may get fame. All these things are ephemeral. Ultimately, your mental satisfaction is the most important thing. The second important thing that you have to view is whether you are going to be of some use to the society, whether you can make the people happy. It is not your own happiness. After some time, you will realize that your happiness lies in the happiness of others. The third important thing is whether by doing this profession you can achieve certain economic status by which you will not be dependent on others. I like this job, sir, so I took it. Now I am expecting my father to send every day, every month, some 25,000 rupees to manage my life in Chennai. Somebody says that it is horrible. I am reminded of a small anecdote by Kushwant Singh, who recently passed away. Passed away doesn't mean gone, he's still there. So Kushwant Singh told a beautiful anecdote that a person met a taxi driver in Delhi. The taxi driver was a different kind of person, a Sardarji, well groomed, well dressed, a robust Sardarji, full of energy and zeal. And he had his car Pakka, it was so nice, well maintained, clean and tidy. Now he got into the car and asked the driver, but generally after some time